Hey, Sarah here again with Maddie B at Edge Home Finance. And I have been getting questions every day, in and out, all morning, all night. Mortgage rates. Are they going to come back down? Are they going to go up? Should I buy now? Should I wait till rates come down? Are housing prices going to come down? Like everybody is questioning, and they all want me to look into my crystal ball. And
Yeah,
we all know that there's no crystal ball, but what we do have is a ton of professionals with tens and 20 and 30 years of experience that I work with. And we all gather and have conferences and talk about this stuff, and we get the smartest analytical brains in the industry looking at stuff. And then we do that as a gut check against people actually in the field. Because I'll tell you right now, all the historical charts and graphs and data and like all the analysis stuff that you do, especially when it's like, oh, this happened 3 weeks ago. None of that means crap if you don't know what's happening boots on the ground. If you aren't out there talking to buyers and sellers and hearing like what's making them nervous and really taking a temperature of the market from the human side, the emotion side, not just the
yep,
number side. So
yep.
in order to help temper that a little bit,
We need to do.
yep, I'm going to say, okay, we're going to talk about some of the facts and what's going on, some of the things we can't see in our crystal ball, but we can kind of anticipate, knowing how humans react and just what we've been hearing in the market. So Matt,
Absolutely.
first of all, where are mortgage rates at today?
Well, hey guys, Maddie B with Edge Home Finance, and where mortgage rates are at today. I went on prior to us getting onto this to look at what our median home sales price in Minnesota, and it's like 334, 823 or something like that. So I used a rounded up figure of 335. First time home buyer, move across, lateral move. Maybe it's somebody moving down, maybe it's somebody moving up from a townhouse into a first time, the new first time home buyer range. So I priced all of this out like we were running this as a minimal amount of money down. So conventional 700 plus credit score, conventional mortgage, 3% down, FHA 3.5% down, VA 0% down. I'm not looking at USDA with this because not everything in Minnesota fits inside a USDA. So to hit the 7-county metro area, which is going to cover most of this, these scenarios, conventional, FHA, and VA, looking at the pricing on FHA today. Now, there's 2 ways a mortgage person gets paid that dictates interest rates. So rates can be lower than this, but I'm going to show you what's the least amount of money out of your pocket. Today, FHA 30-year fixed rates are at 6.548. That's a lock it in today, 6.548. Also
But they
looking down,
will have mortgage insurance, and these are other things to discuss.
there will be mortgage insurance on an FHA mortgage. It's on there forever. But the caveat with this is, in a market that we're in, homes are still going up. They may be not going up the double-digit numbers that they previously were, but we are
Well, it
still,
depends. There are some where it's flattening or going down. I've talked about that yesterday. There are
yeah,
plenty of markets where we're seeing prices that are more equivalent to
going
2021 now.
to correct themselves a little bit. Correct.
Yeah.
But historically, things are going to continue to rise. They may dip here,
If
but
they
they
stay long enough. That's the thing I always have to throw on this. This is not
yep.
because we have this new generation of people who think you buy and sell every 3 to 5 years.
Oh, no, you
And
don't.
when Matt says that stuff is going to go up, he means when you stay there 10 or 20 years.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Like, I just want to back that up because I don't want people to come back later and say, well, Matt promised that my house price was going to go up and then I was going to be able to refinance and then everything was going to be honky dory. And now I have to do a short sale.
yeah, no, I completely agree with that. This is not, so in a purchase market, if you're planning on being in the house for 3+ years, right now is a great time to buy because you're going to be there for a long enough period of time that you will potentially see the appreciation come back while you're living in this house. The business isn't, my business is not built on helping people buy a house for 12 or 24 months and sell it and make, thousands and thousands of dollars, because frankly, that's uneconomical for our economy. If houses continue to go up at 10, 12, 15, 20%, houses that were a first-time home buyer 5 years ago at 150 or 200,000 would be $500,000, and it puts it out of the reach of a lot of people. The fact of the matter is, with rates like they are right now, so a conventional at about 7.3%, and a VA loan today at about VA loan, right back here. Where did that just go? And, oh, you know what? I apologize. It clicked the wrong button. I had something else in there as well. We need to add VA in here. VA was relatively similar to where the financing was at with FHA, but we want to get that absolutely in here. And I'm going to treat this as if this is somebody
Yeah,
using
I
it.
mean, rates are going to move, right? They're lower today than they were yesterday. So it's a little bit irrelevant. We just know that they're 6.5 to 7.5%,
Correct.
about in that ballpark.
About that. The next thing that I want to talk about is, with rates being like they are, because they went up drastically. They have literally doubled since last year. And I was just out in Pontiac, Michigan at a company called United Wholesale Mortgage. Got some one-on-one time with the president and CEO of UWM, Matt Ishbia. And he talked to us a bit about, the fact of the matter is we need around $2 trillion of money running between 6.5% and 7.5%. That's going to be enough money sitting that we will have a potential 3 to 5 year rundown on refinances. So think of a set of stairs. You're at 7.5%. You buy today, you're at 7.5%. You're going to get you're probably going to get a better deal on the house today than you would have 6 months ago, because it's actually at the value that it should be at, not an inflated, oh, hey, I'm going to.
You can negotiate, and you don't have to get into multiple offers and sacrifice your firstborn and, all these things. So, I mean, you can feel better about the purchase that you make because of the time and care you can take comparatively.
Correct.
And so there's a lot to be said for having some negotiating power, for getting a seller to do repairs that we didn't have just 6 months ago. Is it worth 3% on your interest rate? Probably not 3%, but it is worth something.
So I look at it like this, and I like how you said that. Is it worth that? It may be worth that to get the house at a deal. Keep in mind, if you look at housing like it's a relationship, you marry the house because you're going to be there for a period of time. Once again, this is not a buy it and sell it in 12 months and make enough money to buy $1 million home. But it is the type of thing where you're going to be in here long enough that when rates do start to decline and start to go back down, they plateau normally. They'll get to so let's say we used an example of 7.5%. The next fall, let's look at 6.75 to 6.5. When they get to that area, I'm going to be calling my clients to talk with them about a refinance, because if they hit here, they have a potential to go up again or down again. We don't want to miss the opportunity. If it hits here and they go up and you didn't refinance, you've missed an opportunity. But if you refinance here and they continue to go down, you can always refinance again when they go down. So continuously reducing your monthly payments. And to give you an example on that $335,000 purchase, the difference between 7.5, a monthly payment approximately $2,312, down to 6.5 is a monthly payment of $2,090. So there is a almost $250, $260 swing between the 1% range right now on a first-time home buyer. So if rates went back down to 5.5, you're looking at a $500 a month swing in your payment. So once again,
and then that amount, if you use that thinking about your finances, if you use that savings to go ahead and refinance, because there's a cost to refinance. Let's not tell people that's free. What would you say on this price right now it costs to refinance? What are the fees involved?
So you're going to set up a new escrow account. You're going to have mortgage registration tax. You're going to have potential fees for underwriting, processing with other companies. My company here, we have no processing fee, which is between $750 and $1,000. So I pay for that myself personally for my clients. We also have lenders that don't require us to charge an underwriting fee. And with our company, it's $1,000 to $1,500 that we get to cut off of the cost. Not to mention that my rates are normally 0.25% to 0.5% lower. Most clients on this loan size over a 24-month period of time, working with a broker versus working with a retail lender, are going to save between $13,000 and $15,000 a year based on the amount of money that they didn't have to put down upfront for closing costs and the amount of money that our interest rate is going to save them.
Yeah, so kind of what he's saying here is, if you are already recently purchased a house at a higher rate, definitely give him a call, text, email after this, and he'll get you on that watch schedule to potentially refinance and save you a bunch of money on that. So kind of the point in this conversation is, this is all the effect that rates are having on the market, and it's a lot. Don't
Yep.
let anybody fool you and tell you, oh, the market's still hot and things are amazing. And you know what? It's still a really good market. Sellers are still getting really stupid good prices. Buyers are getting some negotiating power back though. So sellers, I'm sorry, you can't tell them to go fly a kite when your toilet's wiggly and your sink is leaking. Like, that's not going to happen. But the seller, you're getting a premium price still. So get over it and fix it.
Yeah.
That's just me being brutally honest about it.
There's stuff that needs.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. When it comes down to this, real estate's supposed to be fun. We do this for a living. I enjoy doing this, and I like to make it fun for my clients. So when there's an issue prior to the closing, like a wobbly toilet, or you found out that, hey, they forgot to put that light socket cover thing back on, just get it done. Get it done and go to closing.
We'll find a way. We'll get the seller over there. We'll get a handyman over there. It'll just get it done. These things are so small in the grand scheme of closing on your house, right? So, but my point is, like, buyers actually have a little bit of say now. Like, sellers can't just disappear and not show up at the closing table and leave the buyer high and dry, because the buyer has the money, and the seller, if they lose that contract, right? Like, they're starting over, and time is money in a market like this, because we don't know if prices are going to decline.
Correct.
So that's where the buyer still has some pull right now in making sure that the seller is following through with their word, fixing things, doing things. And then there's a saying, and I've said it in my other videos, and I'm sure Maddie B has said it to a lot of people too, but you're marrying the house and you're dating the rate.
Yes.
And I don't like cliche things, but it actually makes a lot of sense. You're focused on the house. Is this the right house for you? Can you stay long term? This is not an apartment. You cannot do all these quality things Matt and I are talking about if you're treating it like an apartment.
That's
you need to be looking at it as an investment, as putting down roots, as a place to stay.
Yeah, I look at
once you've done that, right, now we're dating some rates. Now we're playing the money game. We're finding out, like, what, how can I save some money here? How can I make a little money there? That's when that comes in. But until you find the house to marry, like, that's not even like your focus.
You mentioned the rate watch thing. So I have a program that I do for all of my clients, and it's free for anybody watching this video to literally email me or call me to have your information added to the rate watch, because these rates will get better. And I have a simple tool where, with a balance on your mortgage and an estimated interest rate and some contact information, a phone number and an email address, so that I can call you and email you when it is time, I can let you know the minute that you can save a specific dollar amount, if you want to have a certain amount of the percentage coming off of the interest rate, and we can discuss what are going to be the best trigger points for you to be able to save some money. But once again, I call clients and email everybody on this list as rates do start coming back down. And the prediction is it could be rates at 8.25 over the next 6 months. They could start sliding back in the next 6 months. They are predicting that 24, 25, and 26 will be some of the biggest years in our country's history in regards to mortgage rates and falls with those, because we had to go in and raise them to fend off some of the inflation. And I realize it hurts, it hurts for everybody, but it will get better.
Well, because it's slowing your business, it's slowing my business. So economically, we are not doing as well because of this rate environment. Sellers who are locked into these low rates, we'll talk about that next. I have people locked into 2.5 to 3.5%. And they are digging in their heels with me saying they will never, ever, ever move again until rates get that low. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I can't find anybody in the mortgage profession or finance industry that thinks we'll ever get there again. They were unprecedented and unrealistic in the first place.
It
And
was
so it's just not something to bank on. And if you're going to dig in your heels on your financial plan over an interest rate, fine, but enjoy that
yeah.
house till you die.
So here's the other thing I like to bring up. Interest rates are interest rates. I get it. And having a really low one's fantastic. I've got a really low one on my house, but you want to know what else I did? I needed to access the equity ahead of my house. I had things I wanted to do. We had stuff we wanted to pay off. We had things to, we're helping out with a cabin. So these things that we had to do, I accessed some of my equity through a home equity line of credit. You don't have to refinance out of your first mortgage. You can still access your equity in your house. And as to Sarah's point, maybe you do have a 2.5% interest rate, but eventually someday you're going to either upsize, downsize, or move laterally. And, the equity in your house, if you're worried about getting the maximum amount of money for your house, a lot of people have a lot of equity in their house where that money could be used constructively. Maybe you're updating your kitchen. Maybe you're not ready to go now, but like update your kitchen, put in some countertops. Maybe you Mac Daddy out your bathroom and do a tile bathroom and put some granite in on countertops. Make your
Or
house
do basic maintenance so that you don't have breakdown repairs and buyers
yeah,
backing out in the future. If your
yeah.
furnace is 28 years old,
Maybe you
just
get that
if you're
fixed.
thinking about moving in the next 10 years, just update it now.
Yeah,
Get it over with.
and
Get
enjoy
a
it.
great deal.
Yeah, and you get to enjoy the updates you put into your house versus updating the house and then immediately selling it. Like, wow, I spent all this money and I got zero.
Okay, 2 things on that though. Some people are really, really hard on their things. And I've
Yeah,
seen people do remodels and 3 years later it looks like crap and I have to send them out there to like get another remodeler to fix all the stuff they broke because they're just hard on things. They wear their shoes in the house and they've got dogs and their kids break things and run their toys into everything. So
why are you talking about my
let me
house?
just be a little bit like you can enjoy granite countertops or silestone countertops pretty easily for many years before you sell and still have
Yeah,
them okay if you don't choose something crazy. And that's what I'm here for too, by the way. If you're thinking about doing updates, please call me.
yeah,
Let's don't make your own decisions. I know that sounds really bad, but call me and we'll make market-based decisions on your updates and what you're choosing. But the idea is like with the furnace, and that's why I started with things like the furnace. If you update your furnace and then put it on a maintenance plan, you can live there for 10 years and it's still not going to be a detriment to your sale.
yep,
And it's still not, it's going to give you the peace of mind. You're not going to have the potential breakdown of the old furnace you have there. Like those are the things that you should do when you have a 3 to 10 year selling plan. You should
yeah,
start making sure all your plumbing and mechanicals and the basic things are up to date, because in a crappy market, let's say God forbid we get out of this and then rates go down and then we bubble and we burst and we have some new war in the world or something. A house that is fixed up from a mechanical, plumbing, like up to code, the windows are good, that standpoint in any market will sell before something with lack of maintenance
agreed.
every time. And a house with granite countertops and some fancy appliances will maybe draw more buyers out of the woodwork for showings, but
Yep,
ultimately when the roof is old and the furnace is old, that deal's going to fall apart because pretty countertops get people in, they don't sell the house.
right.
So we've got to be really, really conscious of what updates you're doing, that they will help you in any market. Because in a
Agreed.
hot market, yeah, the granite countertops just make things pretty and then people make shitty decisions and buy your house with a leaking roof anyway,
Right.
because the market's hot, but that's the only time that works. So I just caution people about what they're going to do with their home equity line of credit or their, savings or whatever that they kept instead of putting that down on the house right now, that we use it correctly.
Yep. Agreed.
So that's me.
And I agree with that. So yes, use it constructively. If you have maintenance things that need to be done, by all means, get those done because that makes your house sellable. If you have money that's left over, do some of the pretty things and talk with Sarah about what you're going to do so that you don't go and put in the crazy countertop that nobody's going to want later.
Mhm.
So long story short, use professionals, consult with somebody who can make sure that and nobody wants to tell you you're not making a good decision, but maybe having some insight on what are the best decisions that are going to get you the biggest return. Because once again, this is a plan. If you're going to put it together, like if you're planning on selling down the road, a plan put into place is going, proper preparation prevents poor performance. So
Right?
proper preparation, Sarah, is what I would consider to be proper preparation when it comes down to making sure what you need and what others are going to need when you decide you don't need your house anymore is going to make it
So I
easy.
shouldn't say the line that I grew up with about piss poor planning.
Oh yeah, proper planning. Yeah, proper planning prevents poor
I
performance.
think there are just a lot of people who jump in with 2 feet wanting to do this like Amazon with next day delivery.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I've been in the market myself many
Yep.
times, owned many houses, shopped for many houses, bought many houses, and I have gotten myself to closing as fast as possible, but within reason. Like, does the faster closing cost me more money? Then no. But do I want to get there faster and get on with my plans and my life and my, new home and whatever excitement?
Yeah,
Absolutely. But we're going to plan and say, okay, what plan gets us there the fastest without sacrifice?
correct.
Because you don't want to sacrifice things like, ignored inspections and things just because you're excited. And that's what happened during the pandemic, right? Like,
Yep.
people were excited or they were scared about going out or whatever, and so they were making really risky moves. And I'm not insulting anybody who did it, because I had a couple people who did no showings, no inspections, and bought sight unseen, and things are working out fine. But again, professional. I
Yeah,
helped them with all my insider tricks about how to know if a house was good just looking at it online.
yeah,
I did video tours for them. We did a lot of things to make it okay for them to buy sight unseen, no inspection, 20,000 over list price, whatever crap it was. And we had a solid discussion about what they might have to put in to get their money back out, how long they were going to have to stay if they overpaid like that. Like, it's just knowledge. Somebody needs to sit down with you and plan. If you click on some website and just say, take me on a showing, and that agent takes you on a showing and doesn't talk about, like, okay, here's my morals, ethics, values. This is how I operate as an agent. And then you need to be in line with that. And then that could potentially lead to another meeting where you discuss your plans and the outcomes that you're looking for. Now, your biggest investment is actually potentially an investment and not a mistake.
yeah.
So
Oh,
we won't go on and on forever because I see my text blowing up in the background right now.
I love it.
Like 17 of them, I think, since we started this. So I think somebody's pants are on fire,
Maybe.
and I need to call a fire department for them because they don't have 911.
All right, you head off to handle your fires, and hopefully it's not liar pants on fire, but hopefully it's just hey, I need you to come here and cool me down because I'm having questions. So you go handle what
Yeah.
you got to handle.
Matt, phone number.
952-261-5422, or you can visit me at my website at www.yourmortgageguys.org. Maddie B.
Okay, and then you'll send them a message, and then you'll exchange email addresses, and
Yep.
you'll get on the alert plan, and everybody knows to call me 651-964-0289. Again, this is a snapshot in time. We are just coming up on Halloween in 2022. So if for some reason this is on YouTube and you're watching this in like 2025 and laughing at us, that's great. But just know that this is what's happening in today's market
And if you
right
are
now.
watching this in 2025 at the end of this video and you are laughing with us, please call me. I'd love to know where you're at right now. Take care.
That's kind of cool. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.